Hey, what's up, guys? So, welcome to the first edition of Coffee with Closers. I'm here with Cesar Rodriguez.
What's going on, guys?
He's with the Caspian team, and today we're going to start off. We're just going to talk all things related to Houston real estate, how the market is doing, what we're seeing out there, and see if you guys have any questions regarding real estate. And hopefully, we can answer. Well, we'll answer the questions here. So,
Yeah.
All right. So, first of all, Cesar, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And you got your coffee?
Got my coffee here from Coffee Roasters on Washington Street.
Perfect. I got my coffee too as well. So we're here at the offices of White Picket Realty, and Cesar. Just want to go ahead and I know that the big talk right now in real estate is what's going on with the market. Is it a buyer's market, a seller's market? What's going on? So just want to see your take on what's going on in the market.
Yeah. So I could tell you what I'm thinking, and just so you guys know. Not one agent out there knows everything, right? Everything I talk about and everything I'm seeing within my world, within my perspective. Everything Manuel is seeing is going to be within his perspective, right? So what you want to do is never take just one person's word of what's going on. You want to kind of combine a little bit of everything. And it's better to get it directly from people like us who are actually out there in the market. We're seeing it on a daily basis. We don't have any agenda as far as news channels go, anything like that. So it's really just our own perspective. And what I see right now in the market, I see buyers that are typically a little more qualified are the ones that are majority of buyers that are out there right now. Buyers. So if you're looking to sell, be prepared to have your buyers ask you to fix things that maybe someone else wouldn't. Be prepared to negotiate a little bit more than you would have before. It's technically still a seller's market, but the buyers are a little bit more picky in the moment.
Yeah, now you mentioned that it's a seller's market, and coming from like 2 years ago, where the market was super hot, and closings were happy, contracts were coming in 7 days, something crazy like that. Now people are kind of worried. It's like, is it really a seller's market? We see listings on the market a little bit longer, but what I want to remind everybody is that this is what a traditional market looks like. Is that it take a while. What happened in 2021 and up to 2022 was just an anomaly, right? It wasn't supposed to happen. And so that ended. Interest rates went up. People started slowing down. However, if you look at what the inventory is like right now, there's still not enough houses on the market, not for the demand that we see. I know that you probably have a list of buyers that want to go and start shopping as soon as the interest rates drop. I mean, if we see them in the fives, we're going to see a wave of buyers back again, and we're just not going to have enough inventory for that. We're just not going to have that. So one of the things, but that's an opportunity though. Well, I want to talk about that though, is that is an opportunity for buyers. A lot of buyers are saying, "Hey, I'm going to wait," but if you do wait, you're going to go ahead and start with compete with multiple offers. If you wait till interest rates drop, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to compete with multiple offer situations again, just like it was a couple of years ago. So the opportunity for a buyer right now is to shop comfortably without being rushed, be able to negotiate, some repairs, negotiate the price, perhaps seller concessions. Right now is an opportunity for you to do it. Yes, the interest rates maybe not be where they want to, but here's the important part: the price and the terms can be in your favor. And in the long run, that's actually better because you can always, when interest rates drop, you can always refinance into a lower price point, right?
And that's not guaranteed either. I mean, let's just say they never drop. Something happens, this year, both when it comes to elections or in the world that makes it where they can't drop rates anymore. Then you're locked in before it goes up again. Right. I think the statistic that I heard recently was that for every 1% the rate drops, you get 1 million new buyers jumping into the market. So that's 1 million more people that are looking for a house at a good rate that you're going to have to compete against, like he was saying. So right now is a prime time when everyone's still kind of a little bit skeptical because everyone's starting to get back into it, regardless of the rate. So if you're thinking about making a move, it's a great time to jump in and let really all the negotiations be on the side of you when it comes especially to resale homes, which is homes that are currently owned by another person.
Yeah, I think that one of the side effects I think people were hoping for when interest rates went up was at least prices were going to come back down. Like that was the thing. It's like, well, if interest rates rise, demand's going to stall and prices are going to start plummeting. And we didn't see that at all. Actually, in fact, we saw the opposite. Prices still continue to go up. They didn't go as rise as sharply as they did a few years ago, but prices are still going up. And so, regardless of what interest rates are doing, you're paying more as far as the price goes.
And I think where people got it confused was when we went into the second half of last year, right? Because the peak, I would say, was in May, when it was crazy, right? And as when we went into the whole second half of last year, going into this year, and even the beginning of last year, people were looking at what people had sold their homes for at the peak, right? And they were just loving it. They were like, I'm going to sell my home for that price, right? And at the end of the day, when they came into the market way too late, right? They priced it as if it was still the peak, and it no longer wasn't. So when you started to see home prices get reduced, they weren't getting reduced compared to a normal market. They were getting reduced from the peak market, right? So prices weren't dropping. They weren't coming down. They were getting put to where they should be at based on the fact that we weren't in that peak market anymore and you couldn't list at that price. So those are just overpriced homes naturally matching where the market should be at.
Yeah, speaking of, they were just being aggressive. They wanted to take advantage of that super hot market, and they were just a little bit late to the game, right? That was just it, right? Mm-hmm. However, they were still getting a good price for the home. Sellers were still getting a good price for the home, right? In fact, I know a house in my neighborhood that just came on the market, and it is aggressively priced. I'm interested in seeing what it does because it's aggressively priced, according to the recent sales. But we're going to see. In a way, I'm kind of hoping that it does sell for that because that just means my home value went up. But at the same time, I guess taxes might be.
Yeah, if you're planning to stay there, I don't know if you want it to go up too much.
Yeah, taxes might hit me up. But however, that's the thing, though. The prices are still the point. What I was getting to is that prices are still continue going up, and they're not maybe going as sharply as it did before, but they're still creeping up little by little. And if the longer you wait, what we're seeing and what everybody's projecting is that home prices are going to go up. National economists are projecting anywhere between 5 to 3% in home prices increase over the next year, right? These are national economists that are predicting that. Of course, everything is local. In Houston, we always have had a healthy market, so we expect to be on the higher end of that range. So, and that's what it is. You longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. Prices aren't going to plummet again, barring any natural disaster or anybody getting elected or reelected, right? So
yeah. And I would say just if it's a difference, right? If you're looking to sell, what's really hot right now is new built homes because they're perfect, right? And the way the consumer is looking at it, because like we said, it's a little bit of a higher end consumer buying most of the homes, is they're saying if I'm going to pay a large rate and I'm going to pay this price per month on my mortgage, then I want something that's almost perfect and ready for me to move into. And that's what we're seeing. So if you are looking to list, you can still get a healthy price. But what you got to do is you can't just throw it on the market in its current condition with scuff marks on the baseboards or, a wall that doesn't match the other ones because it needs a paint refresh on it. You got to be willing to put a little bit of money into your property to get it to that point where it looks like someone can buy it and move right into it.
Yeah, the days of just slapping anything on the market as is, it's no longer there, right?
No, not at all.
No, but you know what? That's also an opportunity for people who are looking for some value in there. For example, if a homeowner can't, for whatever reason, get it up to par or, do the renovations they do, that's also an opportunity for a person who's looking to pick up an investor, perhaps, or someone who's looking to say, hey, look, I'd like to buy a house, but below market value, I'm going to put a little bit of TLC into it and then have some equity in the end, right? Right now, this market you have an opportunity to do that with this market. And also, let's talk about seller concessions. Right now, it's up to everybody's situation, right? You can either take a price reduction. Let's say the house is listed at 250, but you can get it at 240. Are you going to do a price reduction or do a $10,000 seller concession, right? And I'm just throwing numbers out there. And everybody's financial situation is different. However, you got to choose which one's more beneficial to you. What it means when you do a set of concessions, that means that cash now, right? That means that it is cash that you can use to offset your closing costs, to buy down an interest rate, to do anything. And it's cash now, so it keeps more money in your pocket right now, right? Opposed to a seller reduction of price, well, that just means on the back end, you're paying less in the monthly mortgage. So you got to weigh out which one is more beneficial to you. Either money now or, money saved later. So it all depends up to you. But what other opportunities are you seeing for buyers out there?
Well, before that, I'll touch on what you said a little bit, as far as a reduction versus putting some money into it, right? My advice and recommendation is always to put the money into it if you have it, right? If you could sit on putting a little more money into renovating your property, getting up to par, you're going to see that returned and then some. Because one thing you don't look at is if you put, $10,000 into your home where it matters, you're going to see that and then some, because people are willing to pay for the fact that they don't have to go spend time talking to a contractor and waste time they could be putting into whatever they do for a living to actually make money the way they know how to make money. They're going to pay a premium for that. So normally, if you have the money, it's a better return on your money to just do the work. Because if you're going to do a price reduction, it takes a large price reduction to gain the traction that you're looking for. If you only need $5,000 in work, you might have to do a $10,000 price reduction in order to get the same amount of attention and someone finally putting an offer in at the end of the day.
All right, now we put out this program a couple months ago, and I know this is I'm going to plug one of Caesar's companies in here right now. Let's say you're a seller and you do a consultation with your realtor, with us, right? Do a consultation. Then you find out, hey, I need about $10,000 worth of work to get it to maximize, level, right?
Yes.
Up to par. And you think, well, I have the time. The seller's thinking, I have the time, I just don't have the money. What can they do? If you work with either myself or with Caesar, what can you do to get that done? Let's say a seller wants to get the house up to par, do what it needs to take. They just don't have the money right now. And it's just simple fixes, some touch and paint, perhaps updating, something real quick, right? What can they do?
Well, that's one of the opportunities for someone that does what we do, right? And one thing we've done for the longest time is we've always looked out for our clients. So if a client needs $5,000 in renovations and they just don't have it, but we know we're going to be able to sell the property for so much more if they put that money into it, is we've usually, with our personal clients, done a program where we go in through my company named Home Vengers, doing business sometimes as Finish Line Renovations, and we pretty much do the work and we just bill it out on the back end. And typically we can get the work done less than what a typical contractor will go in and charge you. We don't make crazy money on that side because we know we're really just helping you out. There is some profit involved, which is an opportunity there, right? For some people who want to do something like that. And then on the back end, we get paid out. It is risky on some aspect of it, right? So that's why you make a little bit of profit. If you're looking to sell, you're willing to pay a little more because you're not having to put the money up, right? Overall, we sell the home and we normally see them sell it for a lot more than if they just listed it lower or didn't do the work. And as you talk about opportunity, I'm starting to see other brokerages offer similar programs. They're a little bit more picky with what kind of work they're going to do, or it has to be certain things that they're going to do. So there's some limitations to it. With us, because we cater specifically to our client, we're usually willing to work with them a little bit more. But that is an opportunity that's starting to come out a little bit more. And you're seeing it not just in the residential retail real estate agent side, but you're starting to see it work into the wholesale side a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely. So, there's an opportunity there for our clients to maximize the most with the house, right? This is their largest investment by far, right? And if you have that opportunity to, hey, I'm going to make a little bit more extra time if I just go ahead and involve, finish line renovations, give me more at the bottom line. That's the route you can take. So definitely want to explore all your options when you're selling. You can always sell if you need to quickly as is. However, if you have the time and you want to make that extra money, you put that money in your pocket, talk to us and we can definitely, walk over your options to go over anything like that. So outside of that, how are your buyers feeling so far right now? Now that we're getting into the selling season, into what traditionally is called the selling season, it's springtime. Everybody wants to move before or during, right after school ends. Everybody wants to move. So how are your clients reacting to the selling season?
Okay. Now we're talking specifically about buyers.
Just buyers.
Buyers.
Just
Okay.
buyers.
So I can tell you, we had a lot of buyers that were going through the pre-approval process, and they were just on the fence. They were waiting to see what was going to happen. The holiday season puts brakes on everybody, so it does slow down naturally. In Houston, that's a normal month. December, January, where people are running a little bit slow. But I'll tell you, I felt personally, if you've ever run a race like a 5K or a marathon, and everyone lines up and then they shoot the gun and everyone takes off running, that's kind of how it felt going into January of this year. Was everyone was just lined up. January hit, the Fed news came out, the rates adjusted a little bit down, and we saw so many more people kind of jump the gun and start running to look at homes. They are having to get a little bit of an adjustment in viewpoint, right? As a buyer, if you're looking to get into a price point that you used to see beautiful homes at 2-3 years ago that you were ready to move into, that price point has shifted where now that is the home that might need a little bit of work, right? But one thing I do tell all my clients is if you get a home that needs some work, when you do put that work in, you're the one that gains from the equity gain of doing that work. Versus when you buy a home that's ready to go, it's either the developer, the builder, the investor, the home seller that got to see the equity profit off of doing that work. So it's not a bad thing to have to put some work in. If you're willing to buy a home that needs a little bit, especially if it's cosmetic, don't even worry about cosmetic things. That work can get done over time so that you can gain equity faster, so that if you are ready to sell in a few years, the appreciation will pay for your down payment and then some for your next property.
The opportunity, basically, we're saying is buy now.
Yes.
Buy when you can. Absolutely. If you're ready to go, and obviously this is what goes without saying. If you've got the credit, if you get the down payment, and you have a legitimate reason why to move, yes, buy now and lock in that price and lock in that equity. Absolutely. So one of the things that I started noticing with my buyers, when the interest rates spiked up, mid last year, I had buyers say, hey, no, I'm going to hold off. I was shocked. They're shocked with the price, with the rate hike increase, right? And what I'm seeing is that although interest rates haven't come down tremendously, they're just come down, just a little bit. What I'm noticing is that they're ready to buy anyway. They've gotten used to the fact that, okay, this is what it is. I'm still going to go out there and buy. Why? Because there's a need. Like I said, if you got the credit, you got the down payment, and you have a real reason, I need more space for my family, or I need to downsize, or I need to move across town closer to my job. If you have a real reason, then it is why you need to buy now. I mean, and this is what we're seeing. They're not scared about the interest rates. They are what they are. Again, they come down, great. If not, at least you're locked into a home and start building that equity.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next thing is probably on people's mind is that what is going to happen at the end of the year? I know we're in an election year. Yeah.
Politics. No.
I know politics. Well, I mean, everybody talks about politics, and it's probably something that people are going to do. But what's your take now that you've been in real estate for 8 years? So you've been in two or three election cycles. What's your take on saying, "Hey, I want to wait until after the election"? What do you think?
My take is it never really matters. There's obviously there's things that go into play, right? Programs and policies that get enacted that affect you overall. But for the typical person looking to buy or looking to sell, at the end of the day, whoever ran or was elected, it didn't matter who it was. At the end of the day, they still got what they were going to get. They still bought for what they were going to buy, because whoever is in office doesn't ultimately fully affect, at least in the short run, right? Most of the effects that that person's presidency is going to have when it comes to your home is going to be in effect for long term. It's not going to be a this year type of effect. So waiting to buy or waiting to sell to see who gets elected, if you're going to do it this year or soon, doesn't ever really have a direct immediate impact when you look at it.
No, it doesn't. I've been involved, I think, in real estate for going on 12 years now, so quite a few election cycles, and it does not matter. In the end of the day, if I would have bought a house in 2012, it's worth a lot more. If I would have bought a house in 2016, it's worth a lot more. If I bought a house in 2020, it's worth a lot more. So it did not matter. Yes, there's a couple of policies, like Caesar was saying, a couple of policies that do affect you. But when it comes to home ownership, there's not a long. I heard an interesting statistic a few years ago from one of the local economists from out of A&M, and that in the Houston market, if you bought a house and hold on to that house for 10 years, I mean, also assuming you take care of it, but if you bought a house and hold on for 10 years, there's never been a 10-year period in Houston where that house would have lost money. So the thing is, and most people don't buy a house and move that. I think the average homeowner lives in their home between 7 to 10 years now, right? And so there's never been a 10-year period where if you bought a house and hold on for 10 years where you have lost money. So that's the key. And of course, it's an investment. It's where you plan to grow your net worth, your equity. That's what it means. So we're almost running out of time. So Caesar, any last words?
No, I would just say if you have any questions or you want to know what we think, like I said, when you look at the grand scope of nationally what real estate is doing, we're in Texas, we're licensed in Texas. We could speak to Texas and especially Houston and the surrounding areas a little bit better than we can nationally, right? But we do have network outside of these areas, so we can always connect with people locally in different areas. So whatever questions you have, feel free to shoot them to Manuel in his DMs over here. If you're watching this later on social media as a video, comment down below, as they would say, and we'll get back to all the questions. We're going to start doing this a little more often. We really want to start giving a realistic view with those people who have their boots on the ground versus you just getting news from news outlets and them just kind of giving you a macro view versus a micro view, right? Because that's what's important when you're looking locally.
All right, guys, I just want to say, again, thanks for watching. But definitely, if you have any questions, we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis. If you have any questions, we want to answer your questions. We want to know what exactly you're thinking about when it comes to real estate, the real estate market in Houston, whether it's single family, whether it is multifamily. Let us know. We're definitely going to give the answers to you. So drop the question, send me a DM. Let me know what you guys want to talk about, what you want to hear, and we'll be more than happy to answer the questions here. All right, guys. You guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.